Okay, guys, so I'm recording and I am in the room with my daughter, so there may be some noise in the background, some clicking and things like that, because she's also on her computer. So we're looking at Rotherham, UK, and I'm sure I'm saying it wrong. Rotherham. Estimated 1,400 victims. These are victims that were SA'd from 1997 until 2013. This was investigated in the J report. Actually, I think it would be Alexis J. And there are serious failures by the police and local authorities regarding these cases. In the timeline, again, would be from 1997 until 2013 is what we're looking at here, okay? First of all, I want to say that sometimes when I look at statistics, I also use pattern recognition. And so in this, it's third eye channeling, but let's just get into it. The numbers that they are saying 1,400 or maybe a little more. Yeah, it's a little more than that. I was getting the number 2,100. 2,100 is what I was getting. 2,100 victims, and there's probably more than that, but this is the number that I kept getting in sequence. And also I was getting that these cases, most of them, 99% of these cases, they were not isolated incidents. There was a few that were, but in that time frame that I mentioned, no, because there were a lot of things going on, a lot of gangs, things like that. Most of these crimes were connected to organized exploitation. Now, when I look at the male individuals that would actually take their victims for use, I kept being shown a certain style. So I was getting males, 20s, 30s, that were elected, or you could say selected, to do this type of crime. It's almost a affiliation. It's not mafia, but the men I kept seeing had shaved hair, and they had these tattoos with black ink, and they did seem to have an Irish accent, or Scot-Irish, I don't know, but they had an accent, and it didn't seem to be from the London or Britain, right? It seemed to be another part of the UK, or it didn't seem to be like Rotherham. These felt to be individuals that had lineage maybe in Scotland or Ireland. I don't know which one, honestly. I'm just going by the accent. And they had shaved, they were very clean shaved, and some of them were almost bald. And I was getting like black leather jackets, and I kept seeing the number 8. Number 8 feels connected to this organization, whether it's in a tattoo form or if number 8 is just part of the gang number. I don't know, but number 8 is significant here. I kept seeing it. They showed it to me on it's a game, pool, like on the pool table, number 8. I don't know. That's weird. But that's how I was seeing it. Most of these victims, they were trafficked, abused repeatedly, and controlled, and drugged. Some cases involved extreme violence and coercion. This is really deep, and again, this is not factual. I have to say it's for entertainment purposes only, but I took this pretty serious, and I wanted to look at it. Some of these victims, most of them were very young. I will say that they were very young, and they were abused horrifically. Only a few convictions ever took place in that time frame of 1997 through 2013. And there's a huge justice gap there. And there's a reason for that. Because in this particular region, now I'll get into that here towards the end of the video, but this was a huge organization, and it brings me back to the video that I'm going to be making for things that I was getting in the next in the next year. And it's almost like a whole new Epstein, but it's not a connection. Not all of it's connected to Epstein. There's like another, like a British Epstein or something, you know? You know, there's only one Epstein, but there could be multiple Epsteins, just different faces and different names. Then I was shown value plus truth equals justice coming to light. So here's some dates. Again, I can't claim that what I'm speaking on is 100% accurate, but I'm going to share the dates anyways, but it may be give take. April 6, 2026, which is coming up here soon. There's going to be, I have renewed media attention, legal pressure building, and then I have survivors speaking out again. This was pattern recognition when I looked at the dates. April 6, 2026 on my cell phone calendar, because I don't have a calendar, paper calendar right now. I was getting these things. These things were channeled and came through for April 6th. But it doesn't have to be on that precise date, but in that time frame. Could be a few days after. Then I went into May 10th through June 22nd, which are unusual dates. And this is in 2026 as well. I was getting something with new disclosures and documents that are going to resurface. And there's going to be some documents that are going to surface that have never been heard or spoke on. Possible expansion of national inquiry scope. So there's going to be some, I'm not sure who asked me this in my comment section, but they must be psychic. Because, or you know something I don't know, because this is information that hasn't come out yet. And this person who asked me this must have felt something was going to happen, because sure enough, this is the perfect timing to do this. So again, possible expansion of national inquiry scope. And then we have focus shifts from, pay attention, this is when we focus shifts from what happened to who failed and why. So right now we're in the what happened phase, but we're getting ready to go into who and why. So from July 18th through September 5th, these were the dates that were drawn, I was drawn to on my calendar of 2026. There's going to be a peak. Public anger rises again, or excuse me, resignations are going to happen, policy changes. So we have high level of scrutiny of councils and policing, bodies is what was coming through. And I'm like, okay, I could research these, but you know what? I'm just going to write down what I'm hearing for this time frame and date. And then I'm thinking that probably institutions under pressure, Rotherham Metro Borough Council is going to be back in the limelight again, because I feel like they've already been in the limelight. They're going to be under pressure again. Rotherham Metro Borough Council. All right. So they're going to go under fire, and the South Yorkshire police are going to be under fire and investigated as well. Now, here's what I'm going to say. We know that a Lexus J is connected and there's going to be exposure there. But I was getting that, and I'm being very transparent and honest. Justice will be partial. Okay, it's going to be partial, but not complete. Not all the perpetrators are going to be identified. Well, you have, what's being documented is around 1,400. I'm getting 2,100. But either way, if we were to stick to what we know as what's being reported at 1,400, can you imagine? I mean, there would be at least two hands, like at least 10 to 15 people. Because one person on the streets in this gang could recruit multiple young individuals. It's horrific. And these people that did this, they preyed on the weak, like the ones who were in like lower income housing or lower income subdivisions. I feel like they preyed on them. But there's going to be justice, but only partial for now. And I feel like there's going to be more justice in a few years, but justice will come partial, not complete. Not all the perps are going to be identified, and the institutional accountability is still unfinished. So there's going to be a renewal on the Rotherham Metro Borough Council again, and then South Yorkshire Police. And some people are going to step down in their jobs, but it's only going to be partial. It's unfinished. But this is a start. This is a start to what's to come down the line. And I'm going to tell you guys, this wasn't just about the perpetrators. It was about systems that failed to act. And those systems that failed to act are now back in the limelight and going back under pressure again. But again, I said, this is a start. I'm very happy that when I looked at this and was looking at the calendar dates and channeling, I was happy to see this, but it still doesn't feel 100% closed to me. So that means that there's not going to be a resolution to all of these cases, but let's be grateful that at least minimal 40% will be documented and there'll be some justice. And I think once some of these people are arrested, they're going to eventually rat out their team leaders. I get three. I feel like one is based out of Northern Ireland. It's a recruiter, like the big pimp. And then you have a few other places, but that's what I'm getting, guys. That's what I'm getting. It's really heartbreaking. I don't want to go too much into detail, but these were young individuals, and a lot of them were, in fact, under this legal age. Yeah. And then there were actually some that were of age, male and female. This wasn't just females, male and female.